right, guys, welcome into Fox 5 Live. Happy Friday edition to you. We are bringing in the weekend, or starting to bring in the weekend here at Fox 5. My weekend will start in about 15 minutes once we're done this video, and then off to the races we go. So I hope everybody's having a good Friday, an enjoyable Friday. Fridays are always great, right? It's quiet weather-wise. Once again, I told you yesterday we haven't had too much to talk about. I guess a little more to talk about heading into next week, but in terms of major weather concerns this weekend, there aren't any, with the exception of Sunday being a little showery around here, but we can get through showers, especially given where we've been the past few days. Let's go out to a live look at the White House right now, because you can see the sun is shining. I think that look like, all right, real quick, let's flash back over to the Capitol. And I think that look at the Capitol was a little, you almost think it's foggy, but it's not. It's actually just so sunny and bright that everything is just kind of getting washed out a little bit. But the White House picture shows it much better. The sun is shining. Yes, the flag's waving, though not as violently as it was the past several days. Winds are much calmer, and they're turning out of the south. So we're going to start warming things up here as we head through the course of the afternoon. And in fact, we've already done a decent amount of warming this morning. Temperature is already in the 40s, only 3 degrees off of our daytime high from yesterday. So that kind of gives you an idea of where we're going here. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's talk about what's going on. Here's live satellite around the region. High pressure right here, just dominating the weather pattern. Might actually be a little bit farther east. It is heading east here today. So on the in the morning we were on the northwest side of things, so we kept the cold air kind of locked in here around the mountains. But as this high pressure continues to get farther and farther east today, we're going to kick up more and more of winds out of the south, and that will bring up the warmth from down south. Yes, you can tell that the weather's quiet because I'm having a lot of time to draw things today. Always fun. Closest rain shower activity is almost 1,000 miles away back here in Arkansas. You can see the thicker cloud deck back there. That's the next weather system heading our way. There's going to be a frontal system that heads in our direction as we head into the late evening hours tomorrow and into your morning on Sunday. That's what's going to bring your next chance of rain showers on Sunday morning and into the afternoon as well. We'll go through that here in just a minute. But as for today, we may struggle to get a cloud in the sky later on this afternoon. They're doing the mesoscale thing on us today, so we'll go in tight on our meso sector, as we like to call it. Meso just meaning smaller scale. And you can see that there's just absolutely the closest clouds are hanging out here over the west, high, thin variety. This white, you see, I always like pointing this out. That white you see on the ground, I do have this in motion here. So all that white there is actually snow cover. That white up there, that's all snow cover, snow cover, snow cover. That's not cloud cover. Well, okay, got a little crazy there at the end. But all that white stuff up there off the lakes is all snow cover. It's not cloud cover. So you can see there's a decent amount of it. You're heading for maybe a weekend ski trip, even though we're warming up. Looks like they have some snow out there in the mountains for you to ski on. Other than that, it's very quiet, and it should be a quiet day here in D.C. Here's temperatures over the past few hours. I'll zoom in here so you can see what I'm looking at. We're currently sitting at 40 degrees, and we've come up from our low this morning at 7 a.m., which was 28 degrees. So we're putting some numbers on this. We've come up 12 degrees so far, and under the sunshine, I think we have at least another 10 degrees to go. Looking at the winds, look at your winds. See, this morning when we hit our low, they were out of the north and east at 8 miles an hour. Then we went calm as high pressure sat on top of us. And now we're dealing with winds out of the south at 9. So the warming trend has begun. And here's temperatures over the next few hours here. We're going to continue to warm things up as we head into your day on Saturday. There's Saturday afternoon. That thin veil of yellow you see here is everywhere, getting awfully close to 60 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Now, tomorrow we'll start with some sun, as I'll show you here in a second, and end with some clouds. But generally speaking, it's the best day of the weekend. So if you want to get out, walk the dog, play with the dog, go to the park, Saturday's your day to do it, because at least Saturday will be on the dry side of things. Let's roll through this, one of our weather models here. Obviously, we're in D.C., and D.C. is sitting right there. All right, let's head back and run through things. I'm starting you off on, this is Saturday morning, and anywhere that's not dark there, so clouds are obviously shown in white. So starting off tomorrow morning, should be a little bit of sunshine to start. Watch as we roll through the day. I'm getting you out to, this is now 10 o'clock in the morning. That's 11, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. You can see the clouds will start increasing through the day. And by the time we get to, that's 7 o'clock at night. Let's go forward. That's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. There you see the showers starting to kick up north and west. We'll have on and off showers through the overnight hours. And then it doesn't look like this model goes out far enough. But as we head into your morning, that's 10 a.m. on Sunday morning, you see the steadiest of the showers are down to our south. But we'll still have some periods of on and off showers here in D.C., which I'll show you on this model here in right now. How about it? All right, so here's Sunday's. Again, it's not really a steady rain, and Sunday's not a washout. I don't want to overplay it as being a miserable day, but we will have some showers along warm front that's kind of sliding into the region, or warm front combined with a cold front. It's more of a cold front than warm front combined with a cold front. But you have high pressure out here, southwest flow. There's your front coming down. Ahead of that, you're going to stream up the moisture right along and force it to rise. That's what's going on Sunday. Nothing too heavy. The more organized storm activity is all down here to the south. So we're mostly dealing with the lighter on and off variety kind of stuff, and especially in the morning hours. We head into the afternoon, we may get some dry periods in here. Now Monday is we're watching for how far north and west does this guy trend. I'm not necessarily concerned with it being a snow threat unless you live over the mountains. I think there's just too much warm air around. I know there's a lot of discussion about this in the weather community as whether or not it could surprise with a snow event here along the I-95. I just don't think your upper level features are in the right spot to hold cold air or to get cold air in here in time. We'll be cooler, most certainly. No argument about us being cooler. I just don't think we're going to be cold enough for snow here in D.C. And even if we go in closer on this guy real quick, and I kind of look at each layer of the atmosphere, where you want to be for snow is, see this blue dashed line here? You want to be on the northern side of it. So yeah, D.C. is on the northern side of that, but I'm quickly kind of looking and squinting to see where my 850 line is, and let me see if I can find it here. So we're well below 850 freezing, which is another good spot you want to be. So we're below freezing at the upper levels of the atmosphere. Thickness is good for snow, but I don't think we're going to have enough surface cold air. I mean, if I go in, look, so it's got temperatures in the 40s as this thing comes up. That's too warm for snow, in my opinion. And if we go in even closer, I think I can do a point click here. So pulling up the sounding here when it wants to snow. So where you want it, what you want is a nice deep cold layer. So 0 there. That's up to 900 millibars, about maybe just underneath it, of a warm layer. So that's doing a lot. If anything, maybe we can get a little bit of mixing, but you're cold enough at the upper levels. I don't think you're cold enough at the lower levels. You would need to cool this layer from 900 down significantly in order for us to be talking about some sort of a snow event here. We'll certainly watch it over the next few days. But as things sit kind of right now, I'm not in love with Monday turning out to be a snow event here. I think it could get close enough that we're dealing with some cold rain during the morning commute. But as of right now, that's not in the forecast. We're just going to have to kind of watch this over the next few days. You notice the previous run, it has kind of been, especially since the morning. So this was the morning, or this was the morning run of the model. Now here's the new afternoon run. So you can see it's gotten closer, same hour time. It's gotten closer in those two. But if you know this, watch your blue dashed lines here. If you know this, what they also did was, while the storm got closer, those jumped farther north and west, which just tells me that your cold air supply is kind of weak here, because you want a big high up here pushing air down. You do have a high up there, but it's a little too far north. It's off screen here. It's kind of way, whoop, didn't mean to do that. It's kind of way off to the north off screen here. I just don't think you have enough cold air supply getting down into our region to change that guy over to snow. Now, it's more concerning for those who are off to the north, you know, New England, New York, those areas. Maybe they have a little bit better of a shot than we do. As I go forward here, there you go. You can see the snow event there setting up for New England. That's more likely, in my opinion. But I think down this far south, your cold air supply is a little fickle. We'll watch it over the weekend. Anything goes crazy, I'll tweet it out, Mike T Fox 5, Mike Tom's Fox 5 on Facebook. But as of this moment, I don't see a major kind of snow concern on Monday morning here. Something we'll watch over the next 48 hours. What'd you see, Tucker?
Oh, we got 5 today. Hi, everybody.
5 what? Yeah. Tucker, your head's cut off. They can't see.
Did you run the 12Z?
Yeah. Did you see the rain?
I mean, it's perfectly located for us.
Is it? Yeah, but where's your cold air supply?
Well, if we can deepen it a little bit, we'll pull it in.
Yeah. I said we're watching it. We're watching it.
Come on. That wasn't here.
Yes.
And then,
let's get the snow.
Okay,
Let's
yeah.
get the snow over the mountains.
Okay.
Let's get
You're not going to do much better than that. Go forward 6 hours.
we're living on dreams here, Tuck.
That's what we've been doing all winter.
I know. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I said this. I said New England. I don't mind it as much for New England. But it looks totally different from the GFS. Look how far out the Euro is out to sea with it. So FYI for those watching, this is the same storm with the morning Euro, which is way farther offshore.
Oh, come on. When has the Euro ever been right?
Yeah, the Euro's never right. Yeah. All right. Tucker and I are going to have our little fights over that over the next few days. I can tell already. But we'll watch it. I mean, we will watch it over the next 48 hours because if the GFS does happen to be on to something, what do we need this to do to snow? Okay, I want to see this high pressure built in a little farther south. I want to see the cold air supply be a little stronger. I want to see this storm get a little stronger. If you can really deepen that low, then yes. Right now it's not strong enough. That's my opinion. What you need to do, let me go back to 850. Here's your storm right here. Deepen this guy enough. You'll grab some of this cold air that's sitting just above our heads and you'll pull it down to the surface faster. You cool the layer, you can get snow falling all the way through. Again, right now, our biggest problem, if I go back to it, this is called the sounding, where it shows us the temperatures surface to upper end of the atmosphere. Right now, my problem is this layer is too warm. You need to grab some of this cold air from above. You need to sink it to the surface. Right now, the only way I can see that happening is if you run that low closer to the coast and you deepen that low faster. That's what we have to watch out for. Could it happen in the next 48 hours? Sure. It's a weather model. They change all the time. We'll watch it. I'm not in love with it, but we'll watch it. What I think is more concerning, and what models have been hinting at for a couple more days here, is this guy coming behind it. So basically what you're going to have go through is we have a front come through on Sunday. It briefly stalls. You get an area of low pressure to ride it. That carries the first front out to sea. Behind it, we get what we call a deformation zone, which is a stretching of the atmosphere. We will go and call it an Arctic front. You basically have another frontal boundary coming through that's going to bring a sharper shot of cold air. And out ahead of it, this is the European model showing a wave of snow coming through on Tuesday morning. Let's go back to this American model. Let me change this back up and get you back to the precip. So that storm goes by, and there's the wave coming along the Arctic frontal boundary that comes through early on Tuesday morning. That's 7 a.m. on Tuesday morning. That's snow falling during the morning rush. No, it's not much, and I don't think it has the threat to become a whole lot. But you know how D.C. is with snow falling during the morning rush hour. It doesn't matter if it's a flake. It doesn't matter if it's 4 flakes. It doesn't matter if it's a blizzard. If there's snow falling during the morning rush hour, you're going to have school troubles and all that other fun stuff. That's just D.C. Metro with snow falling. That we are watching. That snow is in the forecast. Again, that's what it looks like on the GFS. I kind of showed you a far out version of what it looks like on the European. Let me take you and show you what it looks like in close as things stand right now. This is the European model with it from our Futurecast. You see it late Monday night into Tuesday morning. There it is, 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. That's like prime time for getting schools to delay and cancel and that kind of stuff. So that's another thing we're watching. So there's kind of 2 events we're watching so far. Is Monday, how close and how deep does that storm get? Is it rain or snow or nothing? And then Tuesday, this Arctic front coming through, does it squeeze out some snow? And if yes, how much snow does it squeeze out? Again, you're looking at the European right now. I just kind of showed you the GFS solution. It is similar. Again, it's got the snow kind of in a different spot, but the general theme holds true of an Arctic front coming through and trying to squeeze out some snow showers, again, during the morning rush. 12Z is 7 a.m. on Thursday. I know I'm kind of blocking it there with my picture. Here's the problem with these things. Remember last week where we got snow hold, as we like to call it, when these storms, when these basically fronts with very limited moisture cross the mountains. A lot of times models a few days ahead of time will be all hoorah with the snow coming down, but the mountains will rip it apart a little bit as it comes across, and we'll end up with the so-called DC snow hole where we don't have as much moisture as we thought, and we end up just getting a dusting, whereas at one time an inch or two looked possible. And right now, an inch or two looks possible according to some of these models. Here's the latest run of the GFS that just came in. It's giving us 1.2 inches. During the morning rush, that's enough to cause problems here. Yes, you know that. It's giving 2 inches to Frederick. It's giving a little bit more to Virginia, like southern, northern neck of Virginia portions, straight over into extreme southern Maryland. I wouldn't buy any totals you see right now. This is one of those cases where, yes, the mountains will get 1 to 3 inches, but once it crosses the mountains, anything east of the mountains is trouble in the models up until day of event. So I would be careful with that. And I do not see this guy at any point going blockbuster on us and giving anybody more than, say, 2 or 3 inches of snow. You'd need to ride an area low pressure up along that front, and I think that this guy has the potential to kill this event if Monday's storm ends up getting a little bit too strong. You'll suck energy and moisture out from this guy, and this guy will end up being a few flurries and snow showers instead of anything that could potentially damage schools on Monday or cause storm issues. All right, I put it, I think, in the description 2 things we're watching. Let's talk about the third thing we're watching, which is at the end of the week, which I still don't like. We've mentioned this before. Models this morning have a storm riding up the eastern edge of the Appalachians. So there's your Appalachian Front Range right there. We go forward with it. It rides the low up just to the east, almost up the I-95, which is an extremely rare track for a low during winter. It doesn't happen often, and I don't think it's going to happen this time. I think this is the model working itself out. We're still a week away from this event happening. I don't like what I see right now. I think it's going to change significantly. I mentioned this before, I still think this guy's going to end up riding farther to the north and west, and we're going to end up raining out here more so than anything else. That just tends to be what we do, and I'll show you why I think that in just a minute. Option number 2, I think, is that this guy gets tossed out to sea and goes way too far off to our east, like a lot of storms have so far this winter. And then maybe, yes, we get a little bit of snow, but it's not anything too significant. I don't see what this model is showing, as you'll see in just a minute, which is a rain to snow event Friday afternoon into Friday night. That's a heavy snow event here. It almost never does that here. That's so rare for a storm to go up the I-95 and for us to get heavy rain that switches over to a heavy snow on the backside for several hours. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And the reason I don't is I don't like what the upper levels are showing. This feature being right where it is, this ridge is not bad for a snow event here next week. But this is not good. You have no block up here. You basically, where these 2 guys are set up, you're not having an area of high pressure sit where it needs to, which is off to the north, to force that storm track into the good spot. So I think 1 or 2 things are going to happen. Either this ball of energy is going to get tossed out a little bit too far east. You can see the energy. Watch kind of the southern edge of this trough, this area of blue. That's the ball of energy that's going to come across with it. Watch as that goes out into the east. I could see the storm riding the southern edge of it and getting tossed out to sea. Or with the lack of any blocks in here, I can see that trough being a little bit weaker. And since the ridge itself is so far back here in Alaska, I can see the trough getting pulled back a little bit farther west, which would pull the storm track into the interior a little bit more. And we'd get cold behind the storm, but it'd be more of a rain event here. That's a week away. I'm not confident on what I'm seeing right now from the modeling period, not even at the upper levels. I don't like it yet. Let's watch it over the course of a week. We have time on that. I don't see this scenario. I don't like that scenario at all. Here's the European. It's a totally different look with the European on it. It basically just brings an Arctic front through as opposed to an area low pressure riding it. It does have a rain to snow situation here. It's a slower rain to snow situation, and it's a much lighter. That's snow here Friday evening. It's much lighter snow. It's not organized. It's trying to organize something here down to the south. Your height fields are a little tight around here, so something's trying to develop here, but it hasn't done it yet. And until the European's on board and until we have model agreement, I'm not going to buy what I see. Ensemble land, let's talk about temperatures. So we're warming it up this weekend. That's your day on Saturday. Get out and enjoy. It's the best day of the week. We will cloud it up in the afternoon, though, so don't expect full sunshine all day, though I think we'll have a pretty sunny start to the afternoon. And if we hold on to that sun enough into the afternoon, we'll do low 60s here, no problem tomorrow. We get out into Sunday, things start to change a bit. We'll cloud it up. Here comes your next system sliding into the Midwest, and watch as that guy deepens. Again, it all depends how deep does this trough, how deep does this trough get? If it can get a little deeper, take this guy, move it a little farther south and west, allow this ridge to build up. That allows the trough to deepen. Then maybe we're cooking with something on Monday. If you're able to get a storm that goes up in between the trough and the ridge there, we'll watch that. Same deal. Nothing set in stone just yet. This trough has been coming in deeper. If you want to talk about model trends, at one time this guy was just a small little wave that came across. Now it's got a much better cold air connection to it. And because of that, at the very least, whether we get a storm or not, as we head into your day on Tuesday, it looks awfully chilly here. It looks like our highs on Tuesday won't make it out of the 30s, along with that Arctic boundary coming through on Tuesday morning to potentially give us a quick coating of snow. Again, I don't think Tuesday's any huge deal. We head into tomorrow, or I'm sorry, we head into the middle of next week, brief warm up, and then we watch what could be the more sustained cold at the end of next week coming down. There's your big trough, nice cold air connection. It is negatively tilted, generally speaking. You're going to have pieces of energy come out. You're going to have them try and ride around. Yes, I think we'll have snow chances as we head into February. I'm not so confident that that Friday into Saturday thing, I'm sorry, my picture's blocking it, but I'm not so confident that Friday into Saturday thing, this is Saturday, February 3rd, I'm not so confident that's going to happen because a lot of times at the back end of these warm patterns, front end of these cold patterns, we tend to struggle getting snow in here. Just something I've seen a lot historically. And then we move on, and the question beyond this point, beyond next weekend, is does the cold lock in farther east, or does this ridge out here hold its grass tight and give us periodic warm shots? Right now, the European ensemble has the cold coming more in waves than more of a sustained outlook, but there's a lot. This is just kind of what we call the ensemble mean. There's a lot of chaos in beyond day 10 here, beyond next weekend, for what are we going to be looking at. Here's kind of a breakdown of it. These are temperatures. Anywhere you see, let me move my head again, anywhere you see the orange means that models are saying good chance of above normal temperatures. There's tomorrow. If you saw my mouse clicker there, this is tomorrow. See how it says 100%? That means 100% of all the models. And you know what? I'm going to switch the thing. Let's go all models here so we can get a better idea. 100% of all models are going above normal tomorrow. Good confidence on it. Same deal for Sunday, above normal temperatures. Close to the normal Monday, that's your transition day, and then we're almost 100% are colder than normal on Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Heading into Thursday, Friday time frame, maybe closer to normal, about 50-50 split between normal and above normal next week. We could have a brief day in the 50s. It doesn't look like a major warm-up, but we could have a day or two in the 50s there next Thursday. Friday, transition day yet again, Friday into Saturday. 80% of models colder than normal next Saturday, and nearly 80% colder than normal next Sunday. Here's your model chaos zone. Model, excuse my poor writing, chaos is this zone, because you have a decent amount, the majority of them, almost 60% of models, are going below normal temperatures holding on. So cold comes and then cold locks in after next weekend. There is a sector of the modeling, what you saw there. There is, 25% say, no, we'll be closer to normal. And then there's another just less than 25% that say, no, we'll be above normal. So if you're kind of doing the math in your head, there's almost basically a 50-50 split that we're either going to be holding the cold in longer, or we're going to be back and forth into another wavy pattern where we're maybe seeing some shots of warmth every now and then. I do still like the idea of us turning towards a more consistently colder pattern beyond Super Bowl weekend, but I think the coldest air is going to hold off till the middle of the month, when we'll kind of get a reinforcing shot. Lots of those long-term models kind of locking into that. And if I go, let's see here, we'll do the weeklies. Here's the current 16 to 20-day forecast. That's extended cold here coming. Let's see, that's Saturday, February 10th. So that's the weekend after next weekend is when things kind of lock in according to this particular model. We did have a run. Today is Friday. I haven't looked at them yet, so let's look at them together. We had the new European weeklies come in. and let's see what this is doing. So here's the new European weeklies. I like to look at the height field. So that's weeklies are kind of trying to bounce us back and forth between warmth and cold temperatures, and then that's a colder pattern than it looks. So you build a big ridge out here, you'll build a deeper trough in between these two ridges. That's a colder pattern than it looks there as we head into the middle of the month. And then it has the end of the month, and my goodness, if that happened in March, late February, early March, watch out, because that would be a storm pattern if I've ever seen one. As we head into late February, early March. But again, that pattern or this kind of model here is not necessarily the best, historically speaking, in terms of how accurate it is. But both long-term models do show cold coming back. Winter's certainly not over. I think it's far from it. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed your Friday. We will watch the events. I will tweet anything that changes with Monday. I will Facebook anything that changes with Monday here as we head into the weekend, but I'm not holding my breath on it. Tuesday looks interesting enough for maybe a coating of snow. End of next week, I'm still not in love with. But you know what? Let's focus on the here and now and focus on the good weekend we have ahead. It's a beautiful day out there today. A little chilly, but yes, that'll change. Later on this afternoon, there's some warmer air slides on in. And then as we head into your day on Saturday, prepare for a nice warm-up and get outside and enjoy. I implore you, because late Saturday night into Sunday morning, we are going to start seeing some rain shower activity return. All I have. I hope everybody has a great weekend. As you can see, Molly's coming back as I leave you a live look at the Capitol. Sun is shining, not a cloud in the sky. Such a bad Friday. Take care, guys. Have a great weekend. I will see you next Monday.
Rose Audio. We live Fox 5. Hey, we live Fox 5. Hey, we live Fox 5. You know, I love the music. Hey, hey, get it, Molly. Hey, get it. Hey, get it, Molly. Hey, hey. Happy Friday, everybody.
You guys. We are in the studio. Okay, we're gonna finally bring our music down. Did you like our new jams? We grabbed some new ones.
Little retail type of thing.
We're working on new ones, so we obviously have limits to what music we can use, but we're here on digital for you guys with some new jams. We'll have new music throughout all of next week because we grabbed it today. We are so happy it's Friday, right?
Yes.
The 26th of January. Oh my goodness. Already had an awesome morning. Gosh, the morning shows have been amazing. I know you guys are watching from all over, so it's very times from where you are. But right now here on the East Coast, it's almost noon. Getting up a little later here. If you were on earlier, you probably saw Mike talk about the weather a little bit in our area. So whether or not that was relevant to you. We're going to talk about some more just sort of social topics, viral videos, trending stuff that's been breaking online. And yes, that includes these things,
yummy.
guys, which I had to go upstairs to get. Normally I wouldn't probably be purchasing these things, but
Hey,
I mean,
Friday's a fun day, cheat day, whatever.
and we have a really special fun segment on this for you guys, so we're gonna do that in just a second. But first off, happy Friday, how are you?
I'm good, you know, I'm feeling
Jamming
great
some
today.
music?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the music got me in a good mood.
You know what's cool, and I'm gonna promo this out now. Kyle's working on something upstairs, as are some of the other anchors, interviewing some notable figures in our community for Black History Month.
Yes.
Which is coming up for February, right?
Yes.
February is Black History Month. There's a whole thing that Fox 5 is slating for talking to some of these people and what they do in our world, in our
Yeah, in our
community.
history, basically talking on what Black history means to you. So we have makeup artists in here, we have people coming in, dressing up and stuff like that, just to see what Black history means to them. So we'll see how that goes, and it'll be out for you guys to see soon, so stay tuned.
I think even specifically on this channel, if you guys are one of our subscribers, awesome. If you're not, don't forget to press that red button that says subscribe to be part of our channel, because next month in February, we're going to have probably one of those people featured a week on one of the days. We haven't figured it out yet, but we'll have a special segment where we interview one of those people that we're talking to upstairs
exciting.
and why they're important and what it means for you guys. So hey, and welcome. And guys, don't forget, you can ask any questions or give us any comment or feedback on our chat. And if you're on with us, make sure you say hey so we know you're there. We can call you out and check you out. And let's get to the first sort of social topic. I guess it's Friday, so we do have an episode of The Four that we want to talk about. But we can do that later.
Yes.
You've been still watching your show. You're down with it. You're
love
doing
it.
He's following it. I'm telling you, he's keeping me updated because I am not so in tune. But I love music and I love singers and sing. Of course, whenever we have an awesome guest here, I'm all about it. But I missed the show. So he's going to tell us all about that in a second. But, all right, let's go to our first little thing. And this is a really fun one. Guys, I know we had to talk about this. You know why? Because today, you guys can see it, right? In the right way? All right, so today, we are going to put Kyle to the test because we're wondering this question. Do they all taste the same?
Do they all taste the same?
You know why? Because in the news or in social kind of chatter this week, there's been some buzz that originated with an NPR article where there was a conducted experiment about if these things all taste the same, because they're all different colors. They've been around forever. We've eaten them throughout
put them all in your hand.
of past. You put them you shove them all in your mouth or you eat them one by one. But the question is, this is actually a scientific thing. Their fragrances and their colors, but do they actually all taste the same? Some scientists have said yes. Others are reaching, they're doing a whole thing, and people are talking on the internet about this. Ultimately, we're going to tell you what the CEO of Mars said, who is the ultimate, overarching company for this. But we're going to do a blindfolded subject test right now because that's what they did. They actually had them wear nose clips, which I don't know if we're going to do that because I really just want to have you guess. I'm going to have Kyle
I'll be like this.
be the guinea pig, and I'm going to actually come up and blindfold him right now. Are you cool with this?
Yeah. And whose scarf is
I'm
this?
not trying to promote Redskins, but we're going to do a Redskin scarf.
Shout out to the Redskins.
All right, for him. Okay, so we're going to blindfold him. Make sure it's not. Is it tight?
Oh, yeah, no, you're good. Uh-oh. We're good. Oh, yeah, this is good.
Okay.
I can't see nothing.
You can't see. Okay, so, and then we're going to take these and we're going to ask. Okay, you look great. This is awesome. The Redskin scarf. Tell me what you guys think throughout all of this, right? Because I'm gonna show you guys. It's sealed. I'm going to undo it. I'm going to take out some colors here. And I'm going to mix it up for him to make sure that we can get an accurate test here. I mean, we're not going to, obviously this isn't so super scientific, but we're going to try our best. Kyle here. All right, your mouth is ready? Is your mouth available? Okay, I'll give it to your hand. Let's start with the first one that we're going to start with. So, like I said, some believe Skittles have a distinct fragrance, a distinct flavor, taste, and smell. They're linked. Others are saying, no, man, they're all the same. We know. Our brain just fools us because we think they're different colors. So let's start with the first one. Go ahead. Pop it in your mouth. I'm going to be cheating and eating a few of these too. Got it. And you can take a guess. I should be marking this down.
I know what this one is.
You do? Mm-hmm. And so he used his nose and his mouth for this because we're not doing a closed nose test here. I think it's important to get all of it together.
Though.
Okay. So you tasted it and you know it. Mm-hmm. Let me tell me what you think.
That's grape.
Okay, he thinks it's the purple grape. Now we're gonna go next. Anybody who's walking by is like, what is this experiment in the newsroom? I promise we'll get to some live stuff in a second. Next one.
This one is the lemon.
Okay, he guesses it's the yellow lemon. Let's go with this.
This one is that apple.
Oh yeah. Okay, you think it's the green apple, which is the green? Okay. Let's go. Here we go. Open the hand. I wonder now if I could do this. Like I'm thinking, I think they are distinct as well.
This is my favorite, the cherry. I know the cherry.
That was cherry for you. Okay. This is so weird.
No, wait. No, this is the cherry.
Okay, so he retracted that last one.
Other one was the orange. This one's cherry.
Okay, interesting. I'm making a mental note what I know. Okay.
That was this one's cherry. I love.
Now here's one more. So interesting, right? You did have a distinct kind of difference in those. I'm gonna pop one because I need some sugar.
It's almost like the orange. That's the orange one.
Markdown.
That's like a Tic Tac type of.
Okay.
Like the orange Tic Tac type of flavor.
Here's another one. I'm just doing a general test here.
This is hard now. I guess this one is the. I don't know.
Really? I'm gonna give you another one of that same color.
Okay.
Here. Pop it.
Orange.
Okay, interesting. Well, we've done a lot here. I don't know how much more I can go.
That's a lemon. That's a lemon.
Okay.
Pulled up with the lemon. That one was lemon.
I will say, you're doing a pretty good job. There's one that you have switched. And even though you retook yourself back for that other cherry red one, there was still one that has been inaccurate. I'm telling you this as they're melting in my hand. But they're close. And my thought is this. I guess we can take it off now, right?
Yeah, sure.
Right? You can peel it.
Okay.
Bye-bye, Redskin scarf. You took go, Redskins. Woo! You did a great job. I know it's hot in there.
I can see clearly now.
It's annoying. Let me tell you this. The one that you mistook, and you said, originally you said that yellow one was cherry, it was yellow, but then you were like, no, I take that back. It was, then you re-said, oh, it was orange. It was yellow. So only one you mistook was the yellow for the orange. And I will say, the citrus ones, I think it's understandable that they might be sort of easy to switch up. The citrus being the lime, lemon, and orange. But I still think they're so distinctive. When you were saying that, I was surprised. Then you got the cherry and you knew for sure it was cherry. So they are distinct. And this isn't super scientific, but you guys know this is pretty fun because, right?
We should do Starburst next. Starburst.
We should. I think those would be more notable.
You think so?
Right?
Yeah, probably. Because they do have a type of.
Oh, if you take a look at them now and you try them, I mean, now I'm eating sugar. Friday in the newsroom, we got the sugar.
Hey.
What do you guys think? Let us know in the chat whether or not you're a Skittle fan. You know you've had them growing up if you did. Or now, as I just ran up to the vending machine to grab
Skittle
these.
fans.
I'm telling you, you eat one, you just want to eat more. But the grape is, to me, is noticeably a purple grape.
Yeah.
The red is noticeable too, but it's interesting that when you pop that yellow, you first said cherry red, then you took it back when you got the cherry and you said that yellow was orange. That's the only slip up you had. Everything else was accurate. So you wonder, does it? It does have to do with the nose and the palate, and like this NPR study said. They did a specific control group for people with the mouth and the nose being covered and distinctive taste and them saying that the brain fools. But here's the kicker, guys.
Uh-oh.
Ready? Mars Wrigley Confectionery, the makers of Skittles, say otherwise. They said, a spokesman for the company vehemently denied that the colors have the same taste. They said each of the fruity flavors has its own taste and flavor, unlike when that whole thing about Fruit Loops came out, that Fruit Loops are all the same. And so the original packs contain the strawberry green, grape, green apple, grape, lemon, orange, the chewy candies. So, according to the CEO, yeah, that's that. But they had fun with it, and this was a cool kind of thing.
Like a fun experiment.
I mean, I see the citrus being similar, but it's a fun experiment.
To each his own. Yeah, but I enjoyed it. The Skittles are great. I can have these, right?
Oh, yes. I know, now I'm addicted.
My little pouch. Okay, never mind.
Oh my god. So what else are you working on? You're going to go upstairs and interview some more people?
Yes, and I'll be back for more entertainment, all right?
Okay.
Okay, guys, I'll be right back.
Kyle.
We have a project coming up, so stay tuned.
Yes, we do. You good? You can leave that.
All right, guys.
Thanks, we'll put it back.
All right, Molly, I'll see you soon.
Okay, Kyle. Good luck on your interviews.
Thanks.
Okay.
In Minneapolis, that is embargo to KMSP.
I do want to play out, guys. President Trump was in Davos, Switzerland, as he has been this week. He made the keynote speech this morning, and I'm going to play that out for you. It was early this morning, obviously on Switzerland time. If we get anything that's live and coming in, I'll make sure to play that or double shot it for you so you can see both. But let's go back over there.
Mr. President, after you have been so warmly received yesterday here in Davos, it is now my great pleasure to officially welcome the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, to the closing session of the World Economic Forum's annual meeting 2018. Mr. President, you cannot imagine how much we are looking forward to your speech. Not just the 3,000 leaders assembled here in Davos, but also the millions joining us globally thanks to the presence of key media from around the world. Mr. President, on behalf of the business leaders here in the room, let me particularly congratulate you for the historic tax reform package passed last month, greatly reducing the tax burden of US companies, fostering job creation, as well as stimulating economic growth in the United States, but also providing a tremendous boost to the global economy. Davos is the place where leaders of states and industry come and work together in the pursuit of global peace and prosperity. We live in an interdependent world where decisions made by one nation, particularly by the United States, impact all other countries. I believe that today we need to strike the right balance between the necessary rebuilding of national social contracts and at the same time strengthening our multilateral system to address critical issues such as trade, investment, terrorism, and migration, to name just a few. Mr. President, the role of the United States and your personal leadership is absolutely essential. For this reason, your message here has tremendous relevance. Of course, I'm aware that your strong leadership is open to misconceptions and biased interpretations. Therefore, it is so essential for us in the room to listen directly to you. This forum, as it has done for nearly 5 decades, should create a base for dialogue and global cooperation where, and I quote you, Mr. President, strong sovereign nations with different values, different cultures, and different dreams do not just coexist, but work side by side on the basis of mutual respect. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, to the stage.
Thank you, Klaus, very much. It's a privilege to be here at this forum where leaders in business, science, art, diplomacy, and world affairs have gathered for many, many years to discuss how we can advance prosperity, security, and peace. I'm here today to represent the interests of the American people and to affirm America's friendship and partnership in building a better world. Like all nations represented at this great forum, America hopes for a future in which everyone can prosper and every child can grow up free from violence, poverty, and fear. Over the past year, we have made extraordinary strides in the U.S. We're lifting up forgotten communities, creating exciting new opportunities, and helping every American find their path to the American dream, the dream of a great job, a safe home, and a better life for their children. After years of stagnation, the United States is once again experiencing strong economic growth. The stock market is smashing one record after another and has added more than $7 trillion in new wealth since my election. Consumer confidence, business confidence, and manufacturing confidence are the highest they have been in many decades. Since my election, we've created 2.4 million jobs, and that number is going up very, very substantially. Small business optimism is at an all-time high. New unemployment claims are near the lowest we've seen in almost half a century. African American unemployment has reached the lowest rate ever recorded in the United States, and so has unemployment among Hispanic Americans. The world is witnessing the resurgence of a strong and prosperous America. I'm here to deliver a simple message. There has never been a better time to hire, to build, to invest, and to grow in the United States. America is open for business, and we are competitive once again. The American economy is by far the largest in the world, and we've just enacted the most significant tax cuts and reform in American history. We've massively cut taxes for the middle class and small businesses to let working families keep more of their hard-earned money. We lowered our corporate tax rate from 35% all the way down to 21%. As a result, millions of workers have received tax cut bonuses from their employers in amounts as large as $3,000. The tax cut bill is expected to raise the average American's household income by more than $4,000. The world's largest company, Apple, announced it plans to bring $245 billion in overseas profits home to America. Their total investment into the United States economy will be more than $350 billion over the next 5 years. Now is the perfect time to bring your business, your jobs, and your investments to the United States. This is especially true because we have undertaken the most extensive regulatory reduction ever conceived. Regulation is stealth taxation. The U.S., like many other countries, unelected bureaucrats, and we have, believe me, we have them all over the place, and they've imposed crushing and anti-business and anti-worker regulations on our citizens with no vote, no legislative debate, and no real accountability. In America, those days are over. I pledged to eliminate 2 unnecessary regulations for every 1 new regulation. We have succeeded beyond our highest expectations. Instead of 2 for 1, we have cut 22 burdensome regulations for every 1 new rule. We are freeing our businesses and workers so they can thrive and flourish as never before. We are creating an environment that attracts capital, invites investment, and rewards production. America is the place to do business. So come to America where you can innovate, create, and build. I believe in America. As President of the United States, I will always put America first, just like the leaders of other countries should put their country first also. But America first does not mean America alone. When the United States grows, so does the world. American prosperity has created countless jobs all around the globe, and the drive for excellence, creativity, and innovation in the U.S. has led to important discoveries that help people everywhere live more prosperous and far healthier lives. As the United States pursues domestic reforms to unleash jobs and growth, we are also working to reform the international trading system so that it promotes broadly shared prosperity and rewards to those who play by the rules. We cannot have free and open trade if some countries exploit the system at the expense of others. We support free trade, but it needs to be fair and it needs to be reciprocal, because in the end, unfair trade undermines us all. The United States will no longer turn a blind eye to unfair economic practices, including massive intellectual property theft, industrial subsidies, and pervasive state-led economic planning. These and other predatory behaviors are distorting the global markets and harming businesses and workers, not just in the U.S., but around the globe. Just like we expect the leaders of other countries to protect their interests, as President of the United States, I will always protect the interests of our country, our companies, and our workers. We will enforce our trade laws and restore integrity to our trading system. Only by insisting on fair and reciprocal trade can we create a system that works not just for the U.S., but for all nations. As I have said, the United States is prepared to negotiate mutually beneficial bilateral trade agreements with all countries. This will include the countries in TPP, which are very important. We have agreements with several of them already. We would consider negotiating with the rest, either individually or perhaps as a group, if it is in the interests of all. My administration is also taking swift action in other ways to restore American confidence and independence. We are lifting self-imposed restrictions on energy production to provide affordable power to our citizens and businesses and to promote energy security for our friends all around the world. No country should be held hostage to a single provider of energy. America is roaring back, and now is the time to invest in the future of America. We have dramatically cut taxes to make America competitive. We are eliminating burdensome regulations at a record pace. We are reforming the bureaucracy to make it lean, responsive, and accountable, and we are ensuring our laws are enforced fairly. We have the best colleges and universities in the world, and we have the best workers in the world. Energy is abundant and affordable. There has never been a better time to do business in America. We are also making historic investments in the American military because we cannot have prosperity without security. To make the world safer from rogue regimes, terrorism, and revisionist powers, we are asking our friends and allies to invest in their own defenses and to meet their financial obligations. Our common security requires everyone to contribute their fair share. My administration is proud to have led historic efforts at the United Nations Security Council and all around the world to unite all civilized nations in our campaign of maximum pressure to denuke the Korean Peninsula. We continue to call on partners to confront Iran's support for terrorists and block Iran's path to a nuclear weapon. We're also working with allies and partners to destroy jihadist terrorist organizations such as ISIS, and very successfully so. The United States is leading a very broad coalition to deny terrorists control of their territory and populations, to cut off their funding, and to discredit their wicked ideology. I am pleased to report that the coalition to defeat ISIS has retaken almost 100% of the territory once held by these killers in Iraq and Syria. There is still more fighting and work to be done and to consolidate our gains. We are committed to ensuring that Afghanistan never again becomes a safe haven for terrorists who want to commit mass murder to our civilian populations. I want to thank those nations represented here today that have joined in these crucial efforts. You are not just securing your own citizens, but saving lives and restoring hope for millions and millions of people. When it comes to terrorism, we will do whatever is necessary to protect our nation. We will defend our citizens and our borders. We are also securing our immigration system as a matter of both national and economic security. America is a cutting-edge economy, but our immigration system is stuck in the past. We must replace our current system of extended family chain migration with a merit-based system of admissions that selects new arrivals based on their ability to contribute to our economy, to support themselves financially, and to strengthen our country. In rebuilding America, we are also fully committed to developing our workforce. We are lifting people from dependence to independence because we know the single best anti-poverty program is a very simple and very beautiful paycheck. To be successful, it is not enough to invest in our economy. We must invest in our people. When people are forgotten, the world becomes fractured. Only by hearing and responding to the voices of the forgotten can we create a bright future that is truly shared by all. The nation's greatness is more than the sum of its production. A nation's greatness is the sum of its citizens, the values, pride, love, devotion, and character of the people who call that nation home. From my first international G7 summit to the G20, to the UN General Assembly, to APEC, to the World Trade Organization, and today at the World Economic Forum, my administration has not only been present, but has driven our message that we are all stronger when free, sovereign nations cooperate toward shared goals, and they cooperate toward shared dreams. Represented in this room are some of the remarkable citizens from all over the world. You are national leaders, business titans, industry giants, and many of the brightest minds in many fields. Each of you has the power to change hearts, transform lives, and shape your country's destinies. With this power comes an obligation, however, a duty of loyalty to the people, workers, and customers who have made you who you are. So together, let us resolve to use our power, our resources, and our voices, not just for ourselves, but for our people, to lift their burdens, to raise their hopes, and to empower their dreams, to protect their families, their communities, their histories, and their futures. That's what we're doing in America, and the results are totally unmistakable. It's why new businesses and investment are flooding in. It's why our unemployment rate is the lowest it's been in so many decades. It's why America's future has never been brighter. Today, I am inviting all of you to become part of this incredible future we are building together. Thank you to our hosts. Thank you to the leaders and innovators in the audience. But most importantly, thank you to all of the hardworking men and women who do their duty each and every day, making this a better world for everyone. Together, let us send our love and our gratitude to make them, because they really make our countries run. They make our countries great. Thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this inspiring speech. As it is tradition at the forum, I will ask you one or two questions. And my first question is, why is the tax reform, why has it been of such a high priority for your administration?
Well, first of all, Klaus, I want to congratulate you. This is an incredible group of people. We had dinner last night with about 15 leaders of industry, none of whom I knew, but all of whom I've read about for years, and it was truly an incredible group. But I think I have 15 new friends. So this has been really great what you've done in putting it together, the Economic Forum. The tax reform was a dream of a lot of people over many years, but they weren't able to get it done. Many people tried. And Ronald Reagan was really the last to make a meaningful cut and reform, and ours is cutting and reforming. We emphasize cut, but the reform is probably almost as important. We've wanted to do it. It is very tough politically to do it. Hard to believe that would be, but it is very, very tough. That's why it hasn't been done in close to 40 years. And once we got it going, it was going, and the big, and I wouldn't say a total surprise, but one of the big things that happened and took place is AT&T and some others came out very early and they said they were going to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to people that work for their companies. And you have 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 people working for these companies. And all of a sudden it became like a big waterfall, a big, beautiful waterfall, where so many companies are doing it. And even today they just announced many more, but every day they announce more and more. And now it's a fight for who's going to give the most. It started at 1,000, now we have them up to 3,000. This is something that we didn't anticipate. Oftentimes in business, things happen that you don't anticipate. Usually that's a bad thing, but this was a good thing. This came out of nowhere. Nobody ever thought of this as a possibility even. It wasn't in the equation. We waited, we said, wait till February 1st when the checks start coming in, and people, Klaus, have a lot more money in their paycheck, because it's not just a little money. There's a lot of money for people making a living doing whatever they may be doing. And we really thought February 1st it was going to kick in and everybody was going to be, well, we haven't even gotten there yet. And it's kicked in, and it's had an incredible impact on the stock market and the stock prices. We've set 84 records since my election, record stock market prices, meaning we hit new highs 84 different times out of a one-year period. And that's a great thing. And in all fairness, that was done before we passed the tax cuts and tax reform. So what happened is really something special. Then, as you know, and as I just said, Apple came in with $350 billion. And I tell you, I spoke with Tim Cook. I said, Tim, I will never consider this whole great run that we've made complete until you start building plants in the U.S. And I will tell you, this moved up very substantially. But when I heard 350, I thought they were talking $350 million. And by the way, that's a nice sized plant. Not the greatest, but not bad. And they said, no, sir, it's $350 billion. I said, that is something. Well, we have tremendous amounts of money, including my newfound friends from last night, great companies. They're all investing. When one of the gentlemen said he's putting in $2 billion because of the tax cuts, I said to myself, wow, he's actually the cheap one in the group, because they're putting in massive numbers of billions of dollars. So I think you have a brand new United States. You have a United States where people from all over the world are looking to come in and invest, and there's just nothing like what's happening. And I just want to finish by, I have a group of people that have been so outside. I have a whole lot of them, so I won't introduce because then I'll insult at least half of them. But I've had a group of people that work so hard on this and other things. And we're really we had a great first year, so successful in so many different ways. And there's a tremendous spirit when you look at all of the different charts and polls, and you see, as an example, African-American unemployment at the historic low. It's never had a period of time like this. Same with Hispanic. Women at a 17-year low. It's very heartwarming to see, but there's a tremendous spirit in the United States. I would say it's a spirit like I have never witnessed before. I've been here for a while. I have never witnessed the spirit that our country has right now. So I just want to thank you all and all of those that are pouring billions of dollars into our country or $10 into our country. We thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. President, I will ask you maybe a personal question, but before doing so, I just
sounds
like
very
to
interesting.
Acknowledge.
I didn't know about this one.
I would like to acknowledge the strong presence of your cabinet members here, who tremendously contributed to the discussions.
Good.
The last
I would
days.
like to do that. That's very good.
Yeah. Now,
Stephen, Wilbur, Gary, Robert, even my general and my various other generals, you know, we're making our military protection a little bit better for us too. So thank you very much. Does everybody understand that? I think so. Thank you all for being here.
now my maybe personal question would be, what experience from your past have been most useful in preparing you for the presidency?
Well, being a businessman has been a great experience for me. I've loved it. I've always loved business. I've always been good at building things, and I've always been very successful at making money. I'd buy things that would fail, that would be failures, and I'd turn them around and try and get them for the right price, and then I'd turn them around, make them successful. And I've been good at it, and that takes a certain ability. And, you know, historically, I guess there's never really been a businessman or business person elected president. It's always been a general or a politician. Throughout history, it's always been a general. You had to be a general, but mostly it was politicians. You never have a businessman. And then, in all fairness, I was saying to Klaus last night, had the opposing party to me won, some of whom you backed, some of the people in the room, instead of being up almost 50%, the stock market is up since my election almost 50%. Rather than that, I believe the stock market from that level, the initial level, would have been down close to 50%. That's where we were headed. I really believe that, because they were going to put on massive new regulations. You couldn't breathe. It was choking our country to death. And I was able to see that, Klaus, as a business person. The other thing is I've always seemed to get, for whatever reason, a disproportionate amount of press or media. And throughout my whole life, somebody will explain someday why, but I've always gotten a lot. And as a businessman, I was always treated really well by the press. You know, the numbers speak and things happen, but I've always really had a very good press. And it wasn't until I became a politician that I realized how nasty, how mean, how vicious, and how fake the press can be as the cameras start going off in the back. But overall, I mean, the bottom line, somebody said, well, they couldn't have been that bad because here we are, we're president. And I think we're doing a really great job with my team. I have a team of just tremendous people. And I think we're doing a very special job. And I really believe it was time. And it was time to do that job, because I don't think the United States would have done very well if it went through 4 or 8 more years of regulation and really a very anti-business group of people. We have a very pro-business group. We have regulations cut to a level. In the history of our country, Klaus, this was reported recently, in 1 year, we've cut more regulations in my administration than any other administration in 4, 8, or 16 years in the one case. We've cut more regulations in 1 year, and we have a ways to go. I mean, we're probably 50% done, and we're going to have regulation. There's nothing wrong with rules and regulations. You need them. But we've cut more than any administration ever in the history of our country, and we still have a ways to go. So I think between that and the tremendous tax cuts, we've really done something. And one other thing I said, and I saw it last night with some of the leaders and the business people, I think I've been a cheerleader for our country. And everybody representing a company or a country has to be a cheerleader, or no matter what you do, it's just not going to work. And the reason I'm a cheerleader is because it's easy, because I love our country, and I think we're just doing really well. And we look forward to seeing you in America, special place, and where you are is a special place also. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for being with us. The World Economic Forum community who is assembled here will be certainly, and I quote you from the last piece of your remarks, will be certainly be among the hard-working men and women who do their duty each and every day, making this world a better place for everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Quite possible.
You're saying it's possible. What? How are you handicapping that then?
I would give it 10 to 15%. You know, don't.
No, before you were at 5 to 10%.
That was over the 10-year period.
So you still
it's
think
all consistent.
So you think this is you're not a believer then?
Look, can I just make one simple point? You can get to 3%.
Some brand new music for you guys inside the newsroom here. That was President Trump making his keynote speech in Davos, Switzerland this morning, talking about America, business in America. And I've been told there was a lot of support for him there in Switzerland. I saw some of the people cheering for him. I'm very excited that he was there. There's also been on the other side lots of protesting in the streets. I've seen a lot of news reports, people gathering clips of people with signs and protests in the streets. So it's really both. We're not really getting any live footage in from over there now because a lot of this happened earlier this morning. But that was those were his remarks, and then a little Q&A section afterwards to talk about business and what he's been doing here in the States. If we have anything more coming from the president, I know we do have an event coming up, possibly with Ivanka Trump in South Carolina. We'll go to that if we do see it coming up live. But for now, back in the studio, back in the newsroom with Kyle,
guys.
who's been running up and down. How have your interviews been going?
It's going good. I'm
Yeah.
doing like test shots and stuff for everybody who's came in, so it's going good so
Some
far.
interesting figures up there.
Yeah,
doing
there's
different
people
things.
that okay have been doing things around the area. No one big, but there's people who are going to make it big, though.
Awesome. Doing stuff for the local community.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little entertainment, you guys. If you know our show, you know that we like to jump around and we talk a little politics, talk a little arts, science, whatever we got breaking, any car chases, all the cool stuff. So let's talk a little TV. You have been following this the new show on Fox, The Four, and if you guys are fans of music, DJ Khaled, P. Diddy is one of the judges.
Charlie Walk, everybody.
You've been watching it. We're on to episode, what, 4?
I think we're on episode 4, yeah.
Okay, and you watched last night?
Yes, so guys, if you missed out on the 4, I'll give you the hot topics on that, right? So look, we started off with, they opened up, the opening was amazing. They did Finesse by Bruno Mars.
they did?
Yeah, so they performed Finesse. They had their own little feel to it. It was really cool. At first I was like, okay, I see what they trying to do, but it was great. It gave a funky feel. So let's go on to like all the competitors, all right?
Okay.
Our first competitor tonight, her name was Ray Vaughn. Ray Vaughn, she actually was a backup singer for Brandy. So, you know, yeah, and DJ Khaled, she was signed with Columbia Records for 2 years, but she not signed with them anymore. DJ Khaled remember her from a studio session, so he's like, I remember you, so you better bring it. She sung Sorry Not Sorry by Demi Lovato. Say I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. Yeah, so she sung her own feel to it, and it was cool. You know, she showed a little bit, you know, what she can give, but it was good enough for her to move on to the round of compete. Diddy said she gave Bad Boy vibes. She did look like kind of like a Faith Evans type of thing, short haircut. Her vibe was giving Bad Boy, so it was
did
cool.
he like that? Or
He
was
did like
okay?
that, but he thought they'd give her another chance so he could see more. So she decided to battle Jason. So when Diddy asked Jason, "You ready?" Jason, like I said last time, he got a little bit smart with Diddy. But Diddy was like, "I'm Diddy. Hold on, don't get smart with Diddy. I don't want to get smart with Diddy because Diddy, you know, it can take you out now."
You can.
But so she challenged Jason. Jason sung Titanium by Sia, and he killed it. I mean,
that's a
he
good
showed
one.
her that I'm here to stay. This is why I'm 1-4. He killed it, like
And
amazing.
That's a hard one too, because you have to. Sia is known for her big pipes and
Yeah.
her expressiveness, and it's a big
Yes,
song.
and Charlie was really surprised because it wasn't like in his music genre of him to sing that song, but he made it into his own and killed it.
Okay.
And Ray Vaughn, so she went back to her roots. Like again, I said, she was a background singer for Brandy. She sung "Have You Ever?"
She sang "Have You Ever" by Brandy.
Yes.
I need to look that up.
Yes.
I'm so glad he's telling me about that.
She
because I haven't
sung.
been watching.
Yes, she sung that, and
Dude, that's a throwback. All right,
Yes.
anybody, everyone's on a different age frame here, but anybody that has those throwback love songs in the 90s,
yes.
I can't.
So she killed that performance, but unfortunately, she didn't, you know, compete with Jason. And Jason get the audience vote, and Jason claimed his seat, and is there to stay for another week. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to her.
So she didn't make it with that song.
No, she.
I wonder if I can find that. I'm gonna have to
We'll
find that.
find it. Yes,
Find a
listen
clip.
to it. Yeah. So she was really good, but unfortunately, she didn't make it. Jason won. She didn't bring it as Jason did. So Jason kept his seat. Up next, another winner of the night. We had Nick Harrison. Nick Harrison was a rapper.
Okay.
So Nick Harrison he performed "Bad Boy for Life" by Diddy. He did the instrumental to it, but he did his own lyrics, his own. It's like a cipher, so he did his own lyrics to the beat. But he gave that bad boy type of feel. I was rocking, Diddy was rocking. We all were at home. Y'all were watching. Y'all were rocking too, because I was rocking with y'all. So look, he had great stage presence and everything. So he got the votes from the judges to move on to compete against 1-4.
Okay.
And he battled Rail. Rail is one of the rappers who won last week.
Awesome.
Hey, how you doing? So he battled Rail. Rail was the one who took Dionne Warwick's daughter's position.
Oh, yeah.
Dionne Warwick's granddaughter, actually. So
Okay.
he said, I'm going to battle Rail. It's only right that we go ahead and do a battle. DJ Khaled was hyped. He said, you better pick Rail. I want to see a rap battle. Do it for hip-hop right now.
Wow.
Know yourself. He was doing, he was hyped.
Yep.
So he said, you know what, I can't. I'm going to pick Nick. I'm going to pick Rail, I mean. So they all performed all their own original music. And, you know, Rail did good, but Nick killed it, and Nick took that W, and Nick took Rail's seat. So Rail is gone, and Nick is back.
So now 2 of them were ousted
Yep.
on the show Thursday night?
Well, Jason kept his seat, but the other...
the 3 were
yeah,
ousted.
so Rail took his spot. So Rail didn't take his spot, so Nick won. So Nick got the seat.
So cool. I think some of the best stuff of the show, and like I said, I'm not an avid watcher. I get the recap from Kyle every week, is the redo kind of versions of these old songs that we love. So whenever you hear these covers, it throws you back, and maybe you're really into them, or maybe you remember them from a certain period of time. And I think it's what grabs these viewers of all ages, because it's like it's music that spans the decades.
Yes.
Plus it's artists judging them. Plus it's the audience voting on who should stay. You know, it's so interesting.
But look, see, it was so interesting, but the night ended with a lot of tears.
Bummer. So everyone is really sad when they switch over.
Wait, one of the original four. Remember I talked about Savaya?
Yeah.
She lost her spot.
She did.
Yes, this beautiful young lady named Kendall Page. She sung Me, Myself, and I. I was thinking she was going to sing Beyonce, Me, Myself, and I, but she sung the G-Eazy version of Ooh,
okay.
It's just me, myself, and I. She killed it. Her voice was amazing. Diddy's like, who you want to battle? She said, I came here, I already know who I want to battle, and that's Savaya. So her and Savaya battle, and like I said before, Savaya sung Diamonds by Rihanna, and her voice was still coming back, but she sounded good. She killed it. But Kendall sung Pillow Talk, and blew it away.
That's a good one.
So Kendall won and Savaya's gone. Megan Trainor was really, she was crying. She had to walk off the set a little bit. Because at first she wasn't going to pick Kendall. She wasn't going to pick Kendall at first. She said, you know, I don't think you're ready to compete against the four, but she was, you know, persuaded by the judges and
to pick her,
and she regretted it because now everybody's fan favorite Savaya left.
Interesting. So again, the recap is the judges pick who is to come on to sort of compete with
and
the original people that are on the stage, and then the audience votes on those two.
But look, here's a twist. That was the last of the night. That's how it ended with Savaya leaving. I was sad, of course, but I kind of felt it was going to happen. But next week it's a comeback round, so all the competitors who were like the four who were picked get to come back and battle for their seat, for their seat back. So if they want their seat back, next week's the battle round. So I think, you know what, Savaya might make a comeback.
Wow, it's a battle round.
I think she might make a comeback. So look, guys, next week, next Thursday, tune in from the 4, Fox 5, 4 from 8 to 10. It's going to be comeback round, so you know it's going to be interesting.
And you can catch it on Fox wherever you are in the nation.
Yes,
so it doesn't matter. We like to talk about it because, of course, it is on our channel. And we've been following it. We're music lovers in here. Speaking of our music, all the new jams I threw on our
Yes, y'all like our intro?
If you guys, I hope you saw it. If you guys didn't catch our intro, we were just rocking it out. We were like, let's throw the camera on this. We're ready.
Yeah.
Kyle's has a lot of energy. He's in here interning for the semester. Bowie State student here in Maryland. How's everything going with classes and stuff?
Everything's going great. School started this week, so I'm here in classes.
Studious?
Yes, definitely in studios. All about the education. You got that 4-year degree. Speaking about the 4 years, I'm out.
You gotta do it in 4.
Yes.
If you guys have any, Schultz saying he doesn't watch the shows, but he loves listening to Kyle. He is entertaining.
Appreciate that.
So
Tune in next week.
He's really good at telling the story, right? And who were we talking about at the halftime? Oh yeah, can we quickly talk about Justin? Justin Timberlake dropped a new single. I know.
You made me listen to it earlier.
I want to go to his show. I made him listen to it just so we had it. As you guys know, he's dropping his album February 2nd, Man in the Woods. It was promo to have sort of a folksy country, you know, he's a Tennessee boy vibe, but it wasn't necessarily going to be slated as sort of that genre. And so the first 2 things that he dropped were kind of poppy. They were back to the Timbaland beat thing of Justin. I know from going through college and like older, like that's when all his solo stuff came out. Anyway, his new thing dropped today, and it's actually the video is really cool. It's filmed in the Bradbury Building in Los Angeles, very old historical iron wrought staircases and elevators and old school things. Based on a novel about utopia from the 1800s. There's so much history in that building. I love it. And they filmed it in 1 take. It's Justin Timberlake and Chris Stapleton.
That's impressive too.
So cool. So it's his collaboration. The 1 take. There's a few other people in there that were like extras, like people that applauded at the end of it. But check it out, guys. It is online now. And it's another single that he's dropping. And I will say this one melds more towards the theme that he was trying to go for. I'm excited to see his other poppy stuff that does come out too, though. I wonder sort of what everything else will be.
Everybody's coming out with new things, you know, especially with the Super Bowl coming out. They're not going to perform. You know, they'll give you something new to promote them. But speaking about new things, you know, the Migos dropped their album Culture 2.
You mentioned this.
Last night at 12 a.m. and a lot of people are loving it. Those who are watching, what do you guys think? Comment if you like the Migos. I know it's a lot.
So their new one with that dropped the album. Also, some people are talking about Gaga at halftime. If Justin will, we've talked about this before, if Justin will bring it and beat her out. Her halftime was awesome. I think everyone's going to be so killer in their own way.
They're different. You can't compare.
She's done it.
She's more Vogue, like more like your special stuff
from the top.
Yeah, he's more live band.
Justin will do some cool stuff where he comes in. He'll make some like really cool entrance or exit. But it'll be interesting to see. Everyone's kind of hoping that Janet Jackson shows up.
You heard them talking about it this morning.
I did. So all these topics.
They said
that they talked about.
They said if Janet Jackson comes back, she'll need an apology, and we want to see her by herself, not with Justin Timberlake. You know what happened? They said she'll need an apology first.
I guess so.
They didn't apologize for it, I don't think.
But you wonder too if it was an apologetic situation or if they collaborated and it was okay with it. You just don't know. Yeah, we don't know the history. It was so long
Janet,
ago.
like we said last week, she's ready. She's fit. She just got off the State of the World tour. She's ready to go to state. Why not? Why not?
Speaking of Super Bowls, the debate today is is that there's an HR article or like a survey that went out that talked about Super Bowl, the day after the Super Bowl being a vacation day or like a holiday. And a new survey from a firm, according to 72% of HR managers, the day after the professional football championship game, the Super Bowl, should be a paid national holiday from work. It's not a bad idea, they're saying, because considering employees, about 27% admit to skipping work following these major sporting events. The question, though, is that a slippery slope to say, hey, we should have every day off after anything? Oscars, World Series,
Grammys coming up Sunday.
Sunday. That's exciting. Oh, yeah. You love it. I'm going to try to watch some of them. Again, I can't, and of course I'm watching the Super Bowl to the bitter end.
Definitely.
I want to watch the whole thing.
Your team is
and my
playing.
team is playing.
Come
I want
on.
to watch the MVP and everything at the end and to see the Vince Lombardi trophy. But the thing is, I was gonna make a joke to my boss today. Maybe I'll tell him on Monday. Hey, this was a story. Do you think you could excuse me on that Monday? No, the thing is, it's funny that percentage is high to me. That much percent of management are saying, hey, yeah, we would like to see that as a national holiday. I mean, holiday is a weird word to say, but
And some people really watch the Super Bowl to literally look at the commercials.
True, which is always exciting. I don't want to take a break. I don't want to take a bathroom break. I don't want to go grab a new beer. I want to see the commercials. I hope that they live up to the hype every year.
Yeah.
Every year they've been a little different. There's always a couple that stand out, but I'm gonna be trying to watch from the beginning to the end, and we'll see. So that's speaking of the Super Bowl. What do you guys think? Should it be off? Is that a slippery slope though to everything?
Because once you take one little inch. Then everybody's gonna use that inch and be like, well.
The Oscars, World Cup, Stanley Cup, World Series, NBA Finals. Those all count.
Yeah, they're gonna they're gonna be like one for all. So if you do it for this day, you should do it for this day. What? Every day is a holiday. I'm realizing now. It's like National Selfie Day, National Best Friend Day.
Yeah, we do that in the news though. We celebrate those national days.
Yeah.
We make it a fun little topic.
It's fun.
We talk about it. There's stuff to do.
My question is this: when was it created? Was this always going on? We were just oblivious to it?
No, that's a really good question. In modern society, as social media became big, it had to have been. Yeah, some of them go back. I think some of them have history. Some of them have to be
It's a millennial
modern.
thing.
We gotta do this. I guess so. It's this generation, man.
We should make a
For
day.
everything.
Fox 5 should make a day.
Yeah, let's think about it.
Fox 5 Day. I think that's going on. I don't know, but we should
national-
find a day to make. Stay tuned. We're going to have a day for you guys. We got to celebrate it and no work after that.
Last quick topic. Ellen DeGeneres is 60 today.
She
Can
looks
you guys
good for
believe
60.
it? She's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I remember when she, first of all, first came out on national television, and then it was all over the magazines, and what a cool statement that was, and it brought sort of that trend and that statement to modern society, as it were, kind of back then. And then also, she's hilarious. Her show is amazing. Her comedy on TV was amazing. She always looked young. She looked great. And I actually can't believe she's 60.
I know.
I would have said, I don't know what I would have said, 50s somewhere.
I would say 50s.
I forget, yeah.
People are being petty on
She's been
Twitter.
around. What do you say?
People are posting, of course, once people give you a compliment, there's always some negative behind it. So some people are posting pictures of Ellen, the bad shots of paparazzi saying she does look 60.
Interesting.
But Ellen looks good. Ellen looks good.
She does.
She looks good, still great human and great in great shape. Everything.
Gosh, I love it. So that's Ellen. Well, all right, that's some good talk on the 4. We get some talk about the Super Bowl. Oh my gosh, Justin's new song, check it out if you haven't.
That's a country
We're talking
vibe.
about him because his album drops 2 days before he performs at the Super Bowl on that Sunday. So February 2nd it drops. February 4th he performs. You know that he's gonna be like, guys, get up on my stuff because I'm gonna be singing it. I'm gonna be out there for my tour. So it's a fun season for music. I'm trying to follow it all, and I'm excited. Grammys, we'll have to talk about them next week.
Yes, can't wait. I can't wait.
Stay up for most of them? Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna say it for the
It's gonna be
Grammys.
fun. I'm gonna watch them too. Yeah, I gotta put that in my calendar. I don't want to forget. These things fly by me, and I'm like, oh shoot.
It's like it's entertainment. That's like politics and entertainment. Every day is something new, you know?
Yep. All right, guys. Right now I have Ivanka Trump. She's at an event about women in leadership in South Carolina. We're just getting it in live, so I want to jump over there, and then we'll see whatever. I'm hearing something else come in live too, so we'll kind of bounce around some news. Let Kyle do some more interviews, and if you guys have any thoughts or comments, let us know. And thank you for hanging out with us on this Friday. It's a fun.
Every Friday.
Yeah, I feel the energy. I'm feeling the Good Friday vibes. Not a ton of people behind me in this newsroom. We kind of run the front of the newsroom on these Fridays.
Exactly.
When it's just quiet and producers are working on their shows for the evening news. But we're here and we're going to rock and roll with you guys for a little bit. So stay with us this afternoon. We're going to jump around and you'll get to check into some of the live events that we have going on. All right?
All right, see y'all.
Thanks,
Be right
Mom.
back.
Let's go to Ivanka Trump. She's up live.
All right, boom.
Couple of segments where on television where I think both the host of the show and certainly the people who were having their tax returns analyzed were shocked that they were going to get money back. Like really, genuinely, everyone was shocked. But I think that will be the experience for a lot of people who have been told that this will not benefit them. And that will just not jive with the reality of how positive this is. So that's what I'm most excited about for people opening their paychecks and seeing the reduced rate, for companies making more announcements about increasing their minimum wages, their entry-level wages, and giving out higher bonuses and reinvesting in their workforce, whether it's training or whether it's through really important benefits such as paid family leave, which I'm very passionate about, and many of the companies you mentioned. Doug McMillon of Walmart called me to mention that they had expanded their offerings for maternity and paternity leave as part of tax cuts, and there's a great incentive to do so that Senator Fisher introduced that gives a credit to businesses who provide that type of benefit. So I think this will be best told by individuals as they experience this in their own life. And I wish there was a way to do it sooner and quicker, but Treasury is committed to doing it as fast as humanly possible. So they're working to make that happen in paychecks almost right away. But you're right. It would be nice to be able to more precisely and clearly tell the story. But there are so many different experiences, and everyone has a different scenario. And we try to account for as many as possible. But we feel really, really good about the mass impact this will have in a very positive way. Thank you.
And just to follow on to the answer that was perfect. So why am I going to say something else? Well, so Jenny's like, really, this is what they do? Yes, this is what we do. So senators throughout the country, I know Lindsay's done it, I'm doing it as well. We are asking our constituents to write in and share their stories with us. And one of the goals that I have is to go to the Senate floor either weekly or every other week and share specific stories from South Carolina employers on the good they're doing for their employees here at home, and then to take the same approach around the country so as to create our own echo chamber. The one thing, there are many things that the president has done really well, but one of the things I believe that he has done is a paradigm shift, is his ability to communicate directly to his audience and to the audiences around the world and in our country. That is something that we're going to have to carpe diem, seize the opportunity this day and make sure that we do that. And one of the ways that we're doing that is sharing the stories. As a matter of fact, I'll do this next week on the floor of the Senate. There's a business owner in Greenwood, small business owner. Because of the tax reform, he is giving to, I think it was 8 employees. I don't have all the facts in front of me right now, but somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000 of bonuses, increasing the pay to those employees and looking for opportunities to expand their retirement options. In Goose Creek, South Carolina, a fellow has 7 employees, owns a battery company, and has decided to buy for their personal use and their business use 6 new trucks for their employees. He's giving them all a 5 or 8% raise. They're getting a one-time bonus of $1,000 or $700 in order for them to understand and appreciate that we're in this together. In Colombia, Nephron Pharmaceuticals, do the same thing. So the truth is that when we start sharing these stories in mass, not only do we see the large companies, the AT&Ts, I think it was Wells Fargo said they were going to invest $400 million into charities, plus give their employees a $1,000 bonus. Comcast, very similar approach. Apple, they said they were going to invest before the tax reform $1.5 billion in America. Now they're paying a $38 billion tax, which is not a bad deal since they had a lot of their assets outside the country. Love you, Apple. Got the phone. But they're going to invest now $350 billion and create 20,000 jobs in America. So we need to do a really good job of telling the story at the top as well as in our real world in here at home in South Carolina.
I'm so glad you said that because it's true for every one of the Fortune 500 companies who has announced in recent weeks, and I mean Apple, these are extraordinary numbers that move the needle for so many in such a meaningful way. But the small business owners who don't have the communications team and don't have the wire services to let the administration and the world know about how tax cuts will benefit their business and their workforce, they're doing this. And these are real heroes, and this is, small business owners are the lifeblood of our economy. So it's amazing to have those stories highlighted as well, and we're hearing it every single day from these small business owners who are creating jobs and opportunity within their communities. So yes, share these stories with
Absolutely.
us and share them with each other.
It is great news for our state. I'm very, very proud to represent South Carolina. Our employees and our employers are just doing fantastic work. It's about 1:10, so we have about 4 questions left, so we'll be able to get through the questions that we have, and I have 2 more questions if I can get to them. I say that to say this, that at 1:30, we'll be finishing up. At 2:30, she'll be flying out. So we're keeping it as tight as possible, but she definitely will be flying out of here when we get close to the end.
Again, New York efficiency. You know?
Yes.
But next time, I want to come back and stay a little bit longer.
Well, we are glad you're here
with
now.
the kids.
We're glad you're here now.
With the kids.
Absolutely.
Do you ever travel and have one of these moments where you don't want to see it by yourself? You want to come back with your family. So I look forward to doing that.
Well, there's no better place to come than Greenville, South Carolina. All my Gamecock fans think I'm wearing this for Tigers. I'm getting all hate mail right now. I'm just happy to be here. So Linda Abrams, are you here, Linda? Linda. Sweet Linda. Linda has a difficult question. I wish it were for you, but I think it's for me. Thank you, Linda.
Perfect.
You can have a seat. Let's go to the next question. Yes, that was the phrase you wanted to answer. So, what are the biggest stumbling blocks to reaching a budget agreement by February the 8th? And is it possible for the congressmen to compromise? Those are like 2 separate questions. On policy issues and still win re-election when the electorate is so partisan. Congressman. Do I know any congressmen in the room? Oh my gosh, there's Trey Dowdy. So, as Chief of Staff is saying, cut it. He's trying to get up to answer the question, but I'm not going to let him. I'll answer the question for you later. I think the reality of it is that we are in a very good position to get this deal done before February the 8th. It is a date that was artificial in nature, shorter than the 16th, but I'm looking down at Lindsay, who has done an excellent job on trying to push us in the direction of getting this compromise done. I think compromise should be defined as common ground. And on the one outstanding issue, I think we're going to find common ground on that issue in a way that the outstanding issue, just in case someone is, the thing I'm talking Greek is DACA on this deal. I think we'll get to a position where the border is protected better than it's ever been protected, and the DACA kids are treated as fairly and as compassionately as possible, but that must be fused together. The good news is from the White House to the Senate to Congress to outside organizations, we are all on the same page of trying to get something done. I am very optimistic that we get it done before the 8th, and looking at the heads of these 2 gentlemen, I think we're in really good shape. So I think you'll be pleased with the outcome. If you want the government to stay open and get something done. If you want the government to shut down, you're going to be unhappy with all of us. Is that clear enough, ma'am? Yes. Okay. If you have a follow-up, I'm happy to talk with you afterwards. I don't have a plane to catch, though I might want to, depending on the answer to our question. I'm sticking around talking to you either way. Okay. Ellen Weaver, I saw Ellen. Hey, Ellen. Hey. Thank you for being here, Ellen. Ellen is you can stand up for a little while. Ellen is a champion, a living, breathing champion on helping kids as it relates to getting a good education. We love your efforts. Thank you for leading the initiatives that you have around education. This week is National School Choice Week. One of the exciting provisions of the Tax Jobs Act was the expansion of 529s into K through 12 expenses. Yolanda, you've answered part of this question already, but I'll give you a chance to highlight it once again. Could you talk a little bit about how the expansion of 529s can help struggling families around the country, here at home in South Carolina, improve the quality of the education their child receives?
Well, I think, first of all, thank you for leaning into this issue and caring so much about education. It's obviously the most fundamental and critical thing we can do as a society, ensure that our students and our children are prepared. And we're increasingly in a world where lifelong education is a priority, especially with the speed of innovation and the changing nature of work. So that's something we're spending a lot of time in the White House and in Congress thinking about how education extends beyond the classroom and into mid and late career as well. But I think this legislation is very important and the most significant that's been passed in a very long time to enable parents more choice. And when you empower parents, you empower families, and choice drives competition. It raises the bar within communities. So I am a very strong supporter. I see you nodding, so I don't think I have to tell you this, but obviously how meaningful it is for parents to be able to use up to $10,000 of the money that's been put away tax-free towards the education of their choice. Primary and post-secondary or secondary is very important and very meaningful, and I think just the beginning. So Secretary DeVos has made this a priority. The President has made school choice and the expansion of school choice a priority. So I think this is the first of many actions you'll see on this front.
For those who may not be familiar with the terminology 529 plans, it has been a vehicle used to help families pay for college for a number of years. When I was in the financial services industry, I sold 529 plans. So it's a wonderful vehicle. You put money in and it grows at a tax-deferred basis without taxation. So the ability to take $10,000 out so that you can help fund education now, not just for college, but K through 12, is a real game changer for a lot of families who have been struggling to make their ends meet and also educate their kids. This is a fantastic revolutionary opportunity for kids. I believe Ted Cruz in the Senate was the lead sponsor on this legislation that made it into the package. So good news is more families here at home will be able to afford educational choices for their kids. And that doesn't matter whether you're in a charter school where there are expenses, or a private school, or whether you homeschool. South Carolina has a large population of homeschoolers. So this will benefit all categories, as I understand the legislation. Pam Batson. Hey, Pam, how are you?
Hi.
You doing well today? Excellent, glad to hear that.
We acknowledge their voices and say to the survivors, their families, and everyone in our community affected by the sexual violence that we recognize that change is overdue. It is also clear to MSU that MSU has not been focused enough on the victims. Our hope is that there will be an opportunity soon to resume a dialogue with counsel for the victims to reach a fair and just resolution. The board today discussed the following points and authorized the following actions. We must also acknowledge that there have been failures at MSU, not only in our processes and operations, but in our culture, and we are united in our determination to take all necessary steps to begin a new day and change the environment at the university. The board has initiated a process to bring in an independent third party to perform a top-to-bottom review of all of our processes relating to health and safety in every area of the university, and to provide recommendations on actions that we will implement to change the culture of MSU on this important issue. We understand that the survivors, their families, and the public have many questions about the Nassar matter. We have asked the Attorney General's office to conduct a review of the events surrounding the Nassar matter. Today, we are calling on him to conduct his review in an expeditiously as possible, and to appoint an independent third party to promote bipartisan acceptance of the results. Again, we are committed to taking the right actions to create a culture that provides a safe environment for all members of our community, and the transition to new leadership will be a key component in helping us to change course. The board will play an integral role in these efforts and in making MSU a leader here and nationally in preventing sexual abuse. We cannot change the past, but we can and will devote our time and resources to foster healing and move forward together. It wasn't originally planned, but...
Guys, you're looking at a cool inside look live inside the Michigan State boardroom. We were just told that there was a camera in there set up to kind of watch these board members filter in and then discuss what they're going to do now after this whole Larry Nassar abuse case and the sentencing, of course, that we've been watching for days, and then the ultimate sentencing the other day. And now there they all are. They're discussing how they're going to make changes and how they're going to be better, possibly get rid of the people that weren't listening, that never passed along this information. I mean, there are some serious things that need to be dealt with and changed at this university, and they're discussing it here. So we're going to check in here and hear what they have to say.
For all of us. So just thank you very much for the support of the board, for the faculty.
Again, it's outside the norm, and I don't think any of you, the student leaders, expected to make a comment, but we didn't expect to include the faculty. If any of you would like to make a comment, now's your opportunity.
I echo the same comments that Dr. Moriarty made, and I look forward to working with Acting President Beekman and being involved with the interim search process.
Okay. I've read a board statement, and then we are now going to move to individual trustee statements. And I want to emphasize the board statement is a statement of the board. These are statements of individual trustees. So, Trustee Musalem, we'll start with you and I guess end with me.
I'm sorry to the courageous survivors, the victims of the largest sex abuse case in American history. I am so truly sorry. We failed you. To all current MSU students, alumni, faculty, prospective students, supporters, I'm so truly sorry. We failed you. This board has come across as tone deaf, emotionless, and lacking empathy. It has infuriated me. I am so truly sorry. We have failed you. Because of the heroism of Rachel Den Hollander, Lindsay Lemke, Kaylee Lorenz, and all the other survivors, a serial predator has been given his death warrant.
Hi there.
From Judge Aquilina, and for the first time in over a decade, this university will have a new president and athletic director. To all of the courageous survivors, thank you for your courage. Thank you for your strength. Thank you for saying time's up. There are no words to express the regret that I feel in my heart for the pain you must feel from the behavior shown toward you from this university and this board. Nothing that I can say may help you find comfort. But I truly hope that each and every one of you, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually are able to feel that you achieve justice and you find closure to this horrific period of your lives. We have a long road ahead of us to repair the damage which has already been done. We must restore the confidence and trust in this university. This must never happen again. This will never happen again. My commitment to stamping out sexual abuse on this campus is resolute. We must and will change the culture which allowed the serial predator to exist on our campus and to the culture which causes all these silent victims to remain in the shadows out of fear and helplessness. No more, not again. We are here for you, to listen to you, to protect you, to defend you. We as a university need to define who we are. I alone cannot do this. The trustees alone cannot do this. Together, students, faculty, alumni, trustees must begin a conversation around who we are and what it means to be a campus that says never again. Over the next couple months, I plan to initiate that conversation by listening to you. I will hold a town hall where students, faculty, alumni, and most importantly, our courageous survivors will have a chance to be heard. I will engage you in conversation to hear your thoughts and your ideas on how MSU can say never again to sexual abuse. I am making a commitment to you today to put in place a plan that makes MSU a sustainable campus with integrity, and we will do it together. I also encourage my fellow trustees in what has been stated in an effort to better ensure that this process is done with transparency to hire an external integrity and safety monitor to produce periodic reports on our progress. This monitor would be independent of the university and of the trustees and tasked with openly and honestly issuing reports to the public. We must ensure the safety and well-being of our university community and that our efforts to change our culture, say never again to sexual abuse, goes uncompromised. Providing sunlight on what we are doing well, but more importantly, what we are doing not well, is imperative. We must empower the victims of sexual abuse, and opening up to the public about what we are doing to protect them is essential to accomplishing that goal. Before we hire a new president, I will demand that this person is committed to principles such as transparency, empowering sexual abuse victims, and to restoring the trust, respect, and pride we once had in our university. We need a leader who sets a tone and establishes a culture that says never again and demands that MSU is a campus with integrity. To the courageous survivors again, I say to you, I am so sorry we failed you, but we must never fail again. I look forward to engaging in a conversation with all of you to hear your stories and to learn from your experiences. Together, we must create a sustainable campus with integrity. I am committed to that idea and to saying never again. Spartans will. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chair Breslin. I mean, I think you realize that these comments from the board today are going to be personal. I have some very personal comments as well. This has been a very, very difficult time for the board. I was elected to the board 12 months ago. When I came on the board, the criminal matter was pending. The civil litigation had started. And then since that time, for the past 12 months, this board has been embroiled in that litigation. I am a lawyer by trade. And as a lawyer, I felt comfortable actually in the litigation process in the sense that I knew the rules, I knew what the next steps would be, and in the back of my mind, I thought that this would be resolved in the litigation process. There would be depositions and discovery, and it would be overseen by the court. What I learned in the last 2 weeks was this is not about the litigation. That's only a part of it. What this is about is the culture of MSU, and I'm embarrassed to say that I learned that from, in some cases, young teenage women who testified in front of a court, who showed the courage to not hide behind the litigation and to actually testify and in some cases state their names with regard to this abuse. I watched that and that changed me. And ultimately it's going to change this university. And those girls are going to have the credit for that. I'm committed as a board member for however long I last on this board to make sure that we never forget what those young women said over the last couple of weeks, because that's going to be the most important thing for us to move forward. I just want to note what I didn't hear them say. I did not hear them say, I want a lot of money. I did not hear them say, I hate MSU. I did not hear them say, I want to destroy MSU. In most cases, what I heard them say was, I want to love MSU again. I want to be a Spartan again. I don't want you to hate me. So all I can say is, I don't hate you. This university doesn't hate you. I am proud of you. You will change this university, and you'll change it for the better. My final comments are this. I am not an MSU grad. I actually have a hard time saying that I'm a Spartan because I know what that means to my daughters. It's a very special thing to them. And that's what we took away from a lot of these girls, was their pride in this university. And we've got to find a way to give that back to them. All right, thank you.
The voices of 156 young women were heard over 7 days in court. Many of their names and faces are now familiar to me, as they are to most of you, and their stories are played over and over again in my mind. Last week, I sat in court and listened to their stories unfold. I am sorry. I am sorry that a person who called himself a Spartan, a person that you trusted, inflicted such harm on his victims under the guise of medical treatment. The university has been unresponsive to your cries. History is what it is, and now we must move forward and attempt to heal your wounds with our actions and our words. Chairman Breslin just shared with you the willingness on the part of the board for our legal counsel to work toward a fair and just resolution with the victims. As a member of this board, I'm committed to making this campus safe from predators, rape, and other unwilling acts. I am inviting victims to help us work collaboratively at MSU in being involved in this cultural shift. AG Bill Schuette has committed to a thorough investigation of MSU and plans to announce the details of such next week, once all victim statements have been heard. I encourage the AG's investigation to include a review of our policies and procedures. We need the truth. We need to know what went wrong, and going forward, to instill an environment on this campus that will never, ever, ever allow such behavior to go unchecked again. Again, to the victims and those who surround and love them, I am sorry. I'd also like to add that earlier today, we learned of Mark Hollis's retirement as athletic director. Mark Hollis is a man of integrity and a true Spartan. He caused us to think out of the box with his creative spirit. There are so many counts today that this is a very, very sad chapter in our history.
I want to say to the survivors that I am truly sorry that this happened to you. and that Michigan State University played a role in that tragedy. I understand the public's outcry. We made mistakes. I made mistakes. I tried to work internally with the Board of Trustees and didn't raise my voice loud enough outside in the public space. That was a mistake. I've learned from that mistake, and I will not repeat it. I intend to have a loud voice. This is about the victims. This is about changing the culture at Michigan State University that allowed a predator to exist among us. Never again can this happen. Never again. And I am committed to do everything I can do and to raise my voice to make sure that we move forward as a university community, and that this never happens again at a place we call home, Michigan State University. Thank you.
God bless you all. Those victims, the compassion we have for them, you'll never know. I'm in that board meeting talking to these board members. They talk from the heart, and they will protect you. They will protect this university. We love our home here. We love our university like loyal people do. We're awful sorry for the trouble we've caused those poor women. And we'll make sure everything in our power that never happens again. Good luck and God bless you again.
I'm sorry to the survivors, their parents, their siblings, their future spouses, their current spouses. I'm sorry that MSU failed them. It's hard for me as a father to fully grasp how this went unchecked for over 20 years. And it's not that we can just point a finger at one button and push it and say that's it. And I don't know that we'll ever fully understand, because I don't know what goes through people's minds. But I do look forward and committed to finding out the who, what, why, where, and when. What went unchecked, who knew what. In my heart of hearts, I really do not believe anybody here thought that Larry Nassar was the monster that he is, except for, unfortunately, the survivors. And no one heard their voice. And that's tough to take as a father myself. So I'm sorry for that. The focus of this board, it's easy to go back and point fingers and what could have, should have done from the time we found out even in September of 2016. But the focus of this board going forward, and I think we're resolute in saying this, is that we need to look forward. We have external entities looking back to find out the details of how this happened. But the focus of this board now and forevermore has to be to understand what we need to correct in order to ensure this never happens again. I have a daughter here. I have a daughter that dreams of coming here, and I want her to feel safe. And I want all of our daughters to feel safe here. MSU needs to be better than this, and we will be. We will be. It's going to take time to earn the trust back, but we're going to be better. And my thoughts and prayers are to the survivors and their families, and I'm just glad they stood up and stopped this monster. Thank you.
I first want to state that without even talking about an interview that I shouldn't have taken,
when I was asked to, because that week, this week, it should have been only about the victims and survivors. And for that, I greatly apologize. I've been, on my degrees in elementary education, I walked in here and I guess the first person I saw and hugged was my daughter. And I have 3 daughters and a wonderful granddaughter. And I'm very committed to, I always have been, to my daughters and to young ladies in my degrees in elementary education. And I came here after being a school teacher. And for that, I very much apologize for beyond my choice of words. But what I more apologize for is my having a wrong emphasis. For me, in this week, to be talking about anyone or anything here at the university, as opposed to my entire emphasis being the survivors and victims. And once you start something off in the wrong vein, no matter how you do it, you're already way behind. And for that, I very much apologize. Sitting here at the table, you happen to witness Brian Moussaoun, Mitch Lyon, Melanie, all the trustees with strong emotions, strong feelings. And I apologize to them because how I handled an interview put a target on their back. But as you see them today, you understand the total sensitivity and commitment of this board to, besides feeling they were doing the right thing in the past, to make certain a total commitment of how we're going to behave going in the future. And Trustee Moussaoun, you know, have a big enough room when you have your town meeting, because I'm going to be there with you. You know, because I've always said you can't solve a problem until you admit it, and you also can't leave a situation until you make it better. And I joined the Marine Corps out of high school. And the one thing we prided ourselves is that if there was a casualty or anything else, we stayed there and stayed with it to make certain we bring them back. And it's the same commitment that I have in this board. If our actions and my actions did not see something or act with enough aggression to keep all these victims we have happening. And the one commitment I have is to make certain that I stay here and redouble our work and redouble how I'm going to perform to make Michigan State University a better institution. And all I'm saying is that I'm truly sorry for our collective inaction, and I'm sorry for my inaction. And the statement that by the board has made today is outstanding. And so I just want to say that we're going to do much better, and we're going to make Michigan State a poster child of how we deal with sexual abuse going forward. And I'm eager to work with the student leaders. I'm eager to work with everyone to make this happen. Thank you.
First, I want to offer my heartfelt thanks to the many women and young girls that so bravely told the world of the sexual abuse you suffered from Larry Nassar. There's no way in the world that I can know the emotional pain you're experiencing and suffered. You have my sincerest apology that these acts occurred and occurred for so long by an MSU employee, and for many of you that it occurred on our campus. You have heard us say that we will work to ensure that this never happens again. Well, for me, that is an acknowledgement, and I acknowledge it, that our university has flaws in its processes, procedures, and lines of communication. We need and will get a thorough review from top to bottom in these areas, and then we need and will take the necessary actions to correct them. It is my belief that in the months ahead, Some of the victim survivors could assist us in that work. It's my belief, my hope, that this is one pathway that MSU can be a part of in the healing process for the victims. To that end, the focus for MSU needs to shift from lawsuits to pursuing the right decisions to genuinely participate in helping victims and survivors with your healing. It was clear from the testimony, much of which I watched and listened to and read about, that part of your healing objective was knowing that changes would be institutionalized here and elsewhere, but particularly here at MSU, to protect future generations of children from sexual predators. MSU has an opportunity to assist victim survivors in achieving that objective. I want to take this opportunity to ask the Attorney General to announce his investigation as soon as possible. I'd ask for his assistance because we believe he is best positioned to provide a thorough review and report on who knew what and when. And in doing so, we will help identify where and why we had failures. To assure the public that the investigation is viewed as free of politics, I ask him to consider appointing a neutral, independent party to conduct his investigation. I believe this step will further the victim's healing process and help restore public confidence. And so I'll now end where I started. You have my apology to the victims and survivors, and my thanks for your courage in telling your stories. That's the end of my statement, personal statement. Mr. Beekman.
With no other action coming before the board, we'll have a motion to adjourn would be in order.
Move.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned.
All right, guys, so the board meeting, there we go, just ended for us, adjourns at Michigan State University. The big news coming out of today is that athletic director Mark Hollis has announced his retirement at Michigan State following this Larry Nassar case, and we've been watching it and following it. I'm curious to know what you guys think, if you guys listen to some of those statements. Obviously, quite emotional, very eye-opening for a lot of them, a lot of apologies, a lot of crying even in that room, people thinking about their own daughters, and knowing that they want the Michigan State name to live on strongly and securely, and it can only do so if they do make those changes at the university. So we're gonna roll it out, guys, with a little live look at Jeff Sessions. He's talking about illegal immigration, and he's in DC. This is a live look. Yeah, here we go. Here's the Attorney General.
And I think that's true. And if you undermine the commitment to constitutional provisions that are clearly in the document, what other constitutional provision will be subject to revision by some judge in the future? So we need to do our duty and follow the law. Some people like that concept, some don't. But the Constitution says that Congress writes the laws and we enforce them, not the other way around. It means absolutely eliminating political bias or favoritism in either direction from our investigations and our prosecutions. That sort of thinking is the antithesis of what the department stands for. We will not tolerate it. It means identifying the mistakes of the past, correcting them. And when we find problems, we are addressing them head on, not sweeping them under the rug. Much of what we're doing is behind the scenes. It's not public, but some of it is squarely in the public view. Well, that's okay. This is our system. It's part of the process. We're going to work our way through it. We don't see criticism from Congress as necessarily a bad thing. We welcome Congress as a partner in our effort to get better. When they learn of a problem and start asking questions, well, that's just a good thing. Sunlight is the best infectant, truly. Truth breeds confidence. A culture of defensiveness is not acceptable. The Department of Justice does not always know what's best. We're not always perfect. No one is. And it can never be that our department would conceal errors if they are to occur. We expect, no, we demand the highest level of integrity, ethics, and professionalism from every person in the Department of Justice. Everyone is expected to advance the mission of the department honorably in service to the American people. If anyone falls short of these standards, we will not hesitate to take appropriate action, and we will do so in accordance with the rules and procedures of the Department of Justice. And while we are open to fair criticism, we, of course, will defend investigators and prosecutors from unfair criticism. Our goal is justice. All our work is subject to review within certain restraints. We will not reject justified review. Our work requires constant improvement and adjustments, but it must always be founded on integrity and the law. Nothing is more important. That is our goal. Thank you all for letting me be with you. Thank you for those of you who work with this United States Attorney's Office. Thank this United States Attorney's Office for your fabulous service to America. You have one of the best offices in America, no doubt. Congratulations on that. And thank you all, and let's work together. God bless.
General Sessions, the President ordered the firing of Robert Mueller. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, guys, bringing it back into the newsroom here. That's right, Kellex. I'm going to roll it out soon. I thought maybe we'd have more of that feed, but Sessions was up for quite a bit now. So I just want to jump into his speech about illegal immigration and talking about border control and whatnot. That is live here in Washington, D.C. It's just wrapping up. Obviously, the press trying to jump in with a few questions, but no answers from the Attorney General walking off screen there. So with that, guys, we'll give you a little wider look at our newsroom. We're going to close it down for the day. We're going to be back on Monday. Of course, don't forget, the Grammys are Sunday night. We'll have a recap of that on Monday as well. And then anything else that props up, we're going to be following all the breaking news and everything to bring it to you on your digital platform. So if you're not a member already, don't forget, you can subscribe right here on our channel, be part of our channel. There's my information below, and just click the red button, and then you'll get an alert on your phone or on your email of when to jump into our YouTube channel stream. We'll have a variety of stuff to talk about every day. We go up from 11 to 2, starting with weather, and then breaking news and viral videos and trending topics and anything we got going on in the newsroom. So trying to get contributions from everybody in here. But thank you guys for chatting. Really good to see you, Pete, Kellex, Kathy, Schultze, Iran. Everybody have a great weekend. Gosh, we're going into the last weekend of January. So guys, be safe, be warm wherever you are. And we'll catch you on Monday, okay? Have a good one. Enjoy some of the new music that I've curated from our music database. You're gonna like it. I have a mix of stuff. All right, check it out.